All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Athenian Stranger tutorial video, where today we are going to deepen our discussion and understanding of the distributive property, and we're going to do something kind of new this time called simplification. You've done this with fractions, but we're now going to do it within the context of algebra. So, we want to simplify. That just means make things simpler, all right, in this context. So let's imagine that we are given the following equation. We are given 6, open parentheses, 1 plus 4x, close parentheses, minus 2, open parentheses, 12 minus 7x, close parentheses. Okay? So, notice something right off the bat. There is no equal sign. Okay? Do you notice that there is no equal sign anywhere? We are not solving. We are not solving. So this is not something where we're going to find out what x equals. Okay, we're not solving. What, in fact, are we doing? We're just simplifying. So here's the good news. We're going to follow the same steps that we do when we solve, but since there's no equal sign to deal with, it's like the whole problem is on one side of the equal sign. So it actually makes things simpler. So let's see what we got. We've got basically two different distributive problems that we're going to use and work with. Here I've got 6 multiplied by this whole expression, 1 plus 4x, and I'm just going to distribute the 6. And then over here I've got 2 times 12 and 2 times negative 7x. Okay, and those two expressions are subtracted from one another. Let's see what we got. So here I'll multiply 6 times 1, easy enough, that's just 6. And then I multiply 6 times 4x, and that is 24x. So plus 24x minus. Okay, now here this is very important, all right? We are going to multiply 2 times 12 and 2 times negative 7x, but we want to make sure that this whole thing is kept inside a parentheses, okay? And I'll show you why in just a moment. So, my first step is to multiply 2 times 12, and that is 24. And my next step is to multiply 2 times negative 7x, and that is negative 14x. Okay, so that is the state of the problem at this point. And why did I put this inside parentheses? Because we are subtracting this whole thing from this whole thing right here. So let me show you what that means. What does that mean? That means that I'm basically going to do a subtraction problem. Now you could try to do that on one line, but try stacking these expressions. Essentially it's like this. We're going to subtract this whole thing from this whole thing. Well, let's see what that looks like, because it kind of looks like it would be hard, but it really isn't. So let's rewrite the problem using a different format. 6 plus 24x minus, so almost like just stacking the problem, minus 24 minus negative or minus 14x. Okay? And Just put a line right here. So we are going to subtract each piece of this. So think about this with me. Let's start on the right. We have 24x minus negative 14x. 24x minus negative 14x. Here's how that looks. 24x minus negative 14x. Okay? Notice those two minus signs, they come together and they make a plus sign. Okay? So it's really 24x plus 14. 24x minus negative 14x is really 24x plus 14x. Well, what is 24x plus 14x? Well, let's find out. We'll just add these up. So the x just comes along for the ride, and now I add 4 plus 4, and that gives me 8, and I add 2 plus 1, and that gives me 3. And now I do this, 6 minus 24. What is 6 minus 24? Well, 6 minus 24 is the same thing as saying 24 minus 6, but keeping in mind that the result will be negative because it's actually 6 and then we're taking 24 away from 6, so we're going to be in the negative territory. So we'll do this subtraction. This is 14 minus 6, and 14 minus 6 is 8. And 1 minus 0 is 1. So negative 18, we go over here and we write negative 18. And now we put a plus sign here because 38x is positive. So the simplified form is negative 18 plus 38x. Okay, let me make sure that plus sign is visible. We need to check this answer, okay? We need to make sure that this is correct. So here's how you check an answer when you simplify, because we never did find out what x is. So we can just use something to see. Let's check. Let's check. Okay, here's how we're going to check. We are going to set our simplified expression equal to the original expression because they are equal, or they should be. All we do is simplify. We didn't change anything, we just simplified. So this thing right here should give us the same answer as this whole thing up here. So what we'll do is we'll put our answer that we think, negative 18 plus 38x is equal to question mark. And now we will write the entire problem that we had to start with. 6, open parentheses, 1 plus 4x, close parentheses, minus 2, open parentheses, 12 minus 7x, close parentheses. Okay? Again, it looks scary, but here's what we're going to do. Over here, give ourselves a little hint. We're going to make up something to plug in for x. Let's assume x equals 0, right? So we should be able to plug in 0 everywhere we see x, and we should end up with the same number on both sides of the equal sign. If we don't, then we have made a mistake somewhere, all right? So you always want to check your simplifications before you commit to the answer choice. So every time we see an x, we're going to put a 0. We'll rewrite negative 18 plus 38. Here I'm going to use this parentheses notation, and I'll put in the 0. Okay, remember that means 38 times 0 equals, question mark, 6, open parentheses, 1 plus 4, again, times 0, put that in parentheses, and then close the parentheses, minus 2, open parentheses, 12 minus 7 times 0. I'm just putting that in parentheses and closing the parentheses. Again, right now it looks like we've created ourselves a monster, but it really isn't, because 38 times 0 is just 0, 4 times 0 is 0, and 7 times 0 is just 0. So we'll go and simplify this a little bit. All right, negative 18 plus 0, because 38 times 0 is 0, equals, question mark, 6, open parentheses, 1 plus 4 times 0 is 0, put a 0, close parentheses, minus 2, open parentheses, 12 minus, and 7 times 0 is just 0, so 12 minus 0, close parentheses. Right? We'll just continue to simplify. We don't have to rewrite this 0 anymore. So on the left side, I just have negative 18. I'm closing in here. So whatever this stuff on the right is, it better come out to negative 18 or we got ourselves a problem. Okay, so we're still going to keep working. 6, open parentheses, 1 plus 0 is just 1, so 1, close parentheses, minus 2, open parentheses, and 12 minus 0 is just 12, so I'll write 12, close parentheses. Okay, so again, we're zooming in here on our answer. Okay, so on the left side, negative 18 just stays, equals, question mark, 6 times 1 is just 6, minus 2 times 12 is 24. So we write minus 24. Right? Now, what is 6 minus 24? So we're taking 24 away from 6. That basically means we're going to say 24 minus 6, and the result will make negative. So we can't subtract 6 from 4, so we'll borrow from the tens place and make 4 into 14. Okay, 6 from 14 is just 8, and 1 minus 0 is 1. So now I've finally come to this point where I can write negative 18 equals, no question mark this time, negative 18. And because that turned out to be true, I put a double check and I go up to my simplified result and I put a double check. So it's important for you to remember, let's put this in a box, it's important for you to remember that when you simplify an expression like this one, this big massive expression down to just this nice simple looking expression here on the left, that these two things should always remain the same. When you plug in a number for x, you should always get the same result. And we did. So if this video was helpful, this is a video on simplification. If this video was helpful, please give the video a like. Okay? This is complex. This part in here, I want you to understand something. If you found this a little bit difficult, a little bit tedious, if you're thinking, hey, I watched the video, but I really don't quite understand what you're doing, okay? That's okay. That's okay. Practice makes perfect, and I'm going to give you a confession. I still find these to be a brain twister, okay? So don't worry if this was a little bit challenging, because with practice, you'll get it down. And the good news is you can always check your solution. If you can get to here, you did it right. If you get here and these are different answers, just, you know what, get another piece of paper, go back to the drawing board. You probably made a little clerical error somewhere. Okay. So like the video, leave a comment if you have a question. And if you have not already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are always alerted to new videos on this channel. Thank you.